Hey, Pasa Calexico. Welcome back to the podcast. Like always, before we begin, I want to thank a couple of people. I want to thank my anchor sponsors. I want to thank Sergio, Camilo, Jake, Dylan. I want to thank Dents on Border, Sergio's Tacos, and David Gastelum. Thank you guys for sponsoring the podcast. And today, this episode is, being planned since before the pandemic, and then pandemic hit, and just we were just talking about it, how crazy it is, all the things that have happened in the last 9 months. But today my guest is Melissa Lizarraga, and she is from the Cancer Research Center of the Desert. Thank you for finally taking the time and being on with me.
Thank you for the invitation. It's good to be here.
Before we begin, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then, what is it that you do for the Cancer Research Center of the Desert?
Sure. So I was born and raised here in the Valley. I'm originally from Hopeville. I have a master's in social work. I graduated from San Diego State here in Calexico in 2017. And during my last year in my master's program, I started volunteering, or I was an intern at the Cancer Research Center of the Desert. And after that, I just got hired here. So that's how I'm ended up here. So currently, I'm the assistant director for the Cancer Resource Center of the Desert. So it's a little bit of the administrative role, but also providing social services specifically to cancer patients.
Okay. And I was reading your guys' mission statement, or just who you guys are. And at first, I said, I read you guys provide patient navigation, and for some reason, I thought that it was like transportation, but it's more than, it might be part of what things that you do, but I think that most of us here in the Valley have had somebody that's been affected by cancer, and just the fact of dealing with that disease is super hard. So that the word navigation is really really important in the sense that you have these people that are probably not thinking right because of the sense of having to deal with a family member themselves with the disease. Navigation is really keyword. It hits the spot. But can you tell us a little bit about what the Cancer Research Center does?
Yeah, so patient navigation, it's a term that we use, but really there's a lot of other individuals that use that same word to define their services. Ours is very focused, that we like to call it clinical patient navigation services, simply for the fact that all of us here, we all have a master's in social work. So the caliber of our services is a little bit different than that of somebody else. With keeping that in mind, what we do is, in short, it's just removing barriers to the patients and their families so that they can continue with their treatment or even begin and seek out that treatment. So that can include financial barriers, helping them apply for different resources like Social Security, state disability insurance. Also, there's a lot of times that people come in here, they don't have insurance, they're uninsured. So we help them with processing their Medi-Cal application, or maybe seeing if Covered California is an option for them, and we refer to the proper individual to help them with that. Same thing, the biggest part is the emotional support to the patient and the family, because of course going through cancer is very difficult, not only for the individual but everybody else around them. And like you said, sometimes they don't understand their diagnosis. Everybody, if they're diagnosed with cancer, their first thing is, I'm going to die. And sometimes that prevents them from truly understanding what their diagnosis is, what their treatment options are, helping them make decisions, informed and educated decisions for their treatment, for surgeries, helping them even to get to a primary care physician, helping them access oncology care, helping them access specialty care. So all in all, it's just support to that individual and the families to help them get to their cancer treatment. And in that, there's also transportation services. We do provide gas cards to patients, whether they're coming here or they're going over to San Diego or out of county. We do help them with that. We also leverage whatever resources are available here in our county or even within their own insurance, because sometimes they don't understand how their insurances work, what insurance can offer them transportation services, liquid nutrition. So it's about educating and empowering that person to work with us and also help themselves in the process of it.
Yeah, because you're all these things that you're mentioning. It's really, I guess once you're in that situation, you really don't know, everything that goes behind it. Just accepting the fact that you have cancer can be really hard, and then taking the steps to, if you fight it, fight the disease, and making sure that you have all the resources, and a lot of times like I have insurance, and I mean, I don't know everything. Yeah, and I have I buy extra stuff. I know I have a cancer plan, and I don't really know what it is. I just know that I pay for it, but I'm sure like if I would go to you guys would know, like, oh, you have this, and this, and it's really important to, like I said, because accepting accepting the fact that you have this disease, can really put you in a spot where like you're in this get tunnel vision. Yeah, like you don't want to know anything else. You just want to maybe like hide away and not deal with it. But there's I'm glad that there's because you guys are a nonprofit, right?
Yes, we're a nonprofit.
So there's a nonprofit like you guys that are there to help. Especially here in the Valley. I think we've with the pandemic we've realized the discrepancies in insurances, or the wealth, like the money people have to pay for medical bills, medicines, treatments. So I know that you guys are there to kind of like pinpoint where people can go and get these resources, and then that's the name in your nonprofit resource center. So I mean, yeah, it's in the name, right?
Yes, but it's funny because a lot of people don't even know about us. Before the pandemic, we would accept walk-ins, so you didn't need an appointment to come in here. You can just pretty much walk in. So it was very common that a individual would go to their doctor's appointment and they were just told like, hey, you have cancer. Go to this place and they're going to help you. And sure enough, like they didn't even know what they were coming in for. And it's really on us to kind of sit down with them. And that's where we do our full assessment. Are they working? If they're not, what are they eligible for to pay their bills? Because especially in our community, it's work first all the time. I think everybody is such a hard worker here. So if they don't have any money to feed their families and keep a roof over their head, they will forego treatment and just be like, I don't want to do it because then I can't work. So that's really where we come in with helping them make decisions like, no, there is an option. You can apply for disability, or we can look into Social Security to see what you qualify for. There's different options. And I think that's the strength in our agency is that we are all very knowledgeable in how these systems operate. Here with Department of Social Services, we have a great relationship with them. So we're able to process Medi-Cals fairly quickly. And we also know the ins and outs of a lot of the programs. So, where a person may come in and they're like, well, I don't qualify for Medi-Cal. It's like, no, hold on. Let's first look at your entire picture. Let's see how you're set up. And then let's move forward with the plan. So we're very skilled at thinking very, very fast. And it's all up here. None of this is taught in school. So really, we've all learned as we've been here. And the biggest teachers have been our patients, our community, because every case is different. There's not a case that's just identical to another. So, every single person that we help, we learn something new. So that's kind of, I think, now with our name being thrown around in the community a lot of fundraisers that people in the community have put on for us this year, people are learning more and more about our agency, and we're like a little hidden treasure here in the county where even, the social workers at UCSD, they're getting to know us a lot better. So they will refer directly the patients. If a patient from Imperial County is being seen over there, they will send in a referral for that person, and they at least know where to send that person so that they can get the services that they need here.
Do you know how it started, how the Cancer Research Center started?
So CRCD was first established in 2006, and it was established by Diana Peacher, who is actually our board director. And then came in Helen Palomino, who's our current CEO. I know she started off as a volunteer because she was a student intern at UCSD Morse Cancer Center. So she was seeing a lot of patients from Imperial County being seen over there and lacking a lot of the resources that, were needed. Just transportation, getting over the hill is a big task for a lot of people. They may not have a car, or they have a car and that car doesn't work, or they have a car and nobody is available to drive them. So little by little, she started realizing the huge need for services. So by that time, CRCD was already established, but with only one staff and then I think a couple of other volunteers. And then once Helen became a social worker, then that's when she started with CRCD, and then slowly it just started building up and building up. So since 2006, we've been able to provide services for over 2,800 community members, and that's including children as well. We're the only agency here that helps children.
Yeah, that was one of my questions. Is it only for adults or children as well?
Anybody. Pretty much our only requirements for our services is that you live in Imperial County and that you have cancer. That's it. That's our only, eligibility requirement to access our services.
Okay, and because for some reason I thought it was like, you would have to be like low income or
No, we help out people who have zero income with people who make over $100,000. It doesn't matter, because no matter what your income is, you're always going to need some sort of help, whether it's, communicating with your doctors or pushing through an insurance need, or even getting a gas card or two so that you can go to your treatment in San Diego or go to your treatment, here in Imperial County. That's the biggest misconception, is that we only provide services for people who are low income, but that's not it. We provide services for everybody, no matter what.
I was actually gonna wear my shirt. I got a shirt from Quinton and Sweet Orange. How they donated, I think it was like $1,000 like a couple of weeks ago for the October cancer awareness. Because we were mentioning about fundraisers. You guys have, you're kind of famous for is it lilies that you guys? That's like
desert lily.
That's like your biggest
it's one of our signature fundraisers, which was hit by COVID. The day of our first delivery is when the stay-at-home orders took place. So there is 6-7 of us as staff, and we would always have a lot of volunteers with delivering, because these are I think it was over 1,000 bouquet of flowers that have to be delivered. So a lot of our volunteers, they're parents, so they couldn't leave their children. So we had to just kind of scramble. Good thing we have a good, very generous community. So we were able to rally a bunch of volunteers to help us with the deliveries on the first time. The second time, I believe it was the Imperial County Fire Department that helped us with deliveries, because we had a massive order on the second delivery that it just couldn't be done by just 6 or 7 of us. So they were able to help us out, and oh my God, it helped out so much, because at the same time, we're not closing our center. We're still seeing patients. So I think they trip out a little bit, because they see us usually nicely dressed, and then those 2 weeks, it's sweatpants, it's leggings, it's shoes, we're running around. But yeah, that's one of our signature fundraisers that we still were able to do pretty well on it, despite COVID. the schools is usually where our biggest sales are at. And a lot of the schools were going to wait until the second delivery to place their orders, which didn't take place because of COVID. But we were still able to make it work with what we had.
Yeah, because I think that's where I first saw that the fundraiser. Because I work at Calexico High School, so that's where I first saw the flyer for the lilies, and I also talked to what's his name? He's from Starts with Arts.
Yes, David.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I heard your guys' podcast. It was really good.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of people in the community are always trying to help, and I mean, especially being a nonprofit, the community is a big part of you guys, being able to run your nonprofit. Can you tell us a little bit about other people or agencies in the Valley that kind of help out with fundraising?
Yeah, so I did mention we work with children. So our partner in that is Halos and Tiaras. They are also a nonprofit organization. They were established out of Hopeville. And it all started because of Kaylin Eiton, who was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma. I believe she was 3 years old when she was first diagnosed. And her grandmother, Robin Eiton, was actually the founder of Halos and Tiaras. And her mission was just to push for pediatric cancers, raise awareness on it. And they started this organization where they have an annual golf tournament and different little fundraisers throughout the year as well. They do a poinsettia fundraiser. I think they just concluded and they sold out. So all that money is fundraised for the children. So we do all the case management for them, making sure that they're getting to their treatment, communicating with their schools, establishing 504 and IEP plans when needed. And then Halos really comes in for that family when they're first diagnosed. They have to be up in San Diego because they obviously cannot get treated here. They have to be at Brady's. So the family is, sometimes it's too late to get housing at the Ronald McDonald House or lodging at the Ronald McDonald House. So they have to stay in a hotel. That gets very expensive. So Halos is able to help immediately provide that financial assistance for that family. And then little by little, we start looking for additional grants. So they are one of our biggest partner whenever it comes to providing services directly to our patients. David Varela and Anitra Parrish from Starts with Arts, they've also provided so much assistance, especially with COVID. They brought us so many masks, not only for our patients, but also for us as staff. We didn't have anything at first, so everybody was scrambling, I think. So they did amazing. They sent us gloves. They sent us, I think, also hand sanitizer and a bunch of masks. And then throughout the years as well, they've also done, bicycle drives for our patients. They've done back to school haircuts and backpacks for them. Not only for our child patients, but also for adult patients who have minor children. Because some of those things they can't, a new backpack is probably $20, $30 that can be money to use to go to their treatment sometimes. So they've helped us out a lot. Also, I'm trying to think because there's been a lot of people this year who have fundraised for us. Gina Varela, also from the Varela Art Collective, she fundraised some money for us back in May, I believe. And then she also did another art auction for the month of September for children specifically. And that raised about $555, I believe, strictly for her center. There's also
where's the Valley, or the guys with the
Where's the Valle? Yes. Lambert Soto from Where's the Valle, he just brought in, I think it was like a $700 check. And he did all t-shirts and hats, raising awareness for breast cancer. And that was directly donated to CRCD. Nicole Elmore, she used to be a trainer at a 413 as well. She now started her own, it's called Faith and Fitness Wellness, I believe. I probably botched the name. But it's Nicole Elmore, and she just did a candlelit vigil and a raffle for us. And I believe it was $2,400 that she fundraised. And they did an amazing job. The sheriff's department also, they are doing their No Shave November right now. So we've been getting some of that fundraising in, and that's spearheaded by Jessica Romero and Sergeant Massad, I believe, from the sheriff's department, and the Imperial Police Department, actually the city of Imperial, but the Imperial Police Department spearheads it as well. They're also doing No Shave November. And last year they were able to fundraise, I think, like $1,500. So their goal is to go higher this year. So that's been all the fundraising that's been going on for CRCD. And we've also applied for some grants that have been available due to COVID. We were given from the Ivy Wellness Foundation, I want to say $100,000, probably a little bit over. And then we also had a huge grant as well from Katie Santillan from the Sonia Corina, company, and it was about $70,000 as well. So, just COVID did hit and it put all our fundraising at a halt, but our community has been extremely generous in making sure that our center keeps our doors open, because that's pretty much how we're funded, is through fundraising, donations, and grants and research projects. That's how we keep our doors open.
Yeah, and like you said, like you give patients gas money, hotel. I mean, all that can get pretty expensive and costly. Where are you guys located?
We are located in El Centro. Our address is 444 South 8th Street, Suite B3 in El Centro, and we're located inside the Valley Professional Center.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I've never normally you drive around and you see the offices,
signs,
but you're kind of
we're hidden.
Yeah. So I mean, if obviously a lot of the community like we're talking is helping you guys out, but like if more people want to help or volunteer, like what are some of the things that they can do to help? Maybe if they can't help monetarily, like volunteer wise, what are some of the things that the community can do?
I guess, well, first things first is just inform if they know anybody who is going through cancer that may need assistance, or even if they feel like they don't, they're always, they're more than welcome to provide them with our information, or even call us and say, hey, you know what, so-and-so is going through this cancer currently and they're needing assistance. Can you please follow up with them? Because of COVID, our volunteer program is a little bit, at a halt, just because of safety. We have to be mindful of who we're around and all that stuff, because our patients are immunocompromised. But even like the big thing is also providing liquid nutrition for our patients. So even like if they were to want to donate some of that for our patients, or masks or PPE, pretty much in general, that's always welcome. And all they have to do is give us a call and we'll, set up an appointment for them to come in, and then they can drop off their stuff.
Okay. You said about the, your cancer patients being more, prone to, if they get COVID, they're more susceptible to like get severe symptoms. How has COVID changed, the way you interact with patients and, your day-to-day, routine?
We've usually been very mindful of having Germex and wipes even prior to COVID, just because they are immunocompromised. So we always had that precaution and that safety for them and for us as well. But now, like I said, there's no more walk-ins. We have to make an appointment and we have to screen as well. We ask them, if they've been in contact with anybody who has been positive for COVID, if they themselves have been having any symptoms. All of our cancer patients, if they're in treatment, they're getting COVID tested on a regular basis. So I believe it's a 72-hour prior to their next treatment that they're being requested to have a test. So normally on their end, they're fine. And they're really good about taking care of themselves because they're immunocompromised. As far as patient interaction goes, everything is by schedule. And even when we meet with the patient, we have a plexiglass in front. We have our mask on. We have hand sanitizer on both sides of the plexiglass. Sanitize everything before and after that person comes and goes. Yeah, just pretty much taking those precautions. And we also have like these little UV lights to sanitize the rooms. So we'll turn them on at the end of the day so that the whole room is able to be sanitized.
Oh, I've heard of the UV lights, but I've never seen, one actually being used. I mean, I've seen them on TV, but not like in an office. How does those work? Just turn them on?
They're like little ones, and then we also have one that we can sanitize the actual documents. So with the UV light, we'll go through their IDs and all that stuff whenever we take copies of them and all that.
Oh, that's crazy. All these things that we now have to do. I mean, hopefully, because, we're talking about the vaccine, and a lot of people are kind of afraid of vaccines as it is. So hopefully, we can someday get back to where we don't have to do all these little things that, we have to do. Yeah, it's so crazy. So is there anything else that you would like to, talk about that, I didn't ask you or bring up?
Yeah. So, a lot of people don't know this about our agency, but we do a lot of research projects as well. We're involved in research with UCSD, University of San Francisco as well. And we've been published as well in the oncology journal, I want to say. But all the publications and everything is on our website too. So this is giving our community a voice because we are underserved. There is a lack of resources here. So doing these research projects gives our community a voice as to what the needs are. It's more on the behavioral and psychological part of research. So it's not like, hey, what causes cancer? It's more so, hey, this person has cancer. How are they being mentally and emotionally affected, and what types of interventions are available to them for that? So we've been involved in a lot of research, and we're still moving forward with it despite COVID.
Yeah, and something that you mentioned that's pretty interesting is that all of you have masters in what was it?
In social work.
Social work, and I think that's really important in the sense that you know how to talk to people. Especially when they're down and all these things that go when you have something like this that often people like they hear cancer and it's like, oh no, I'm gonna die, and that's not naturally the case all the time. But yeah, it's really kind of like it makes you like kind of like be more trustful in the sense that all these people are well educated, they know how to talk to people, they know what they're doing. Not that other places don't, but I'm just saying that like knowing that you guys have masters is like you guys know what you're really really doing, and it's important. It's important when, especially like I said, when people are in that situation and that mindset where like they might be down and not want to like go through with treatment and yeah, it's I mean I personally haven't had, family members have to deal with this, but I know friends that passed away from it, and yeah, it's really sad that, especially when somebody's like super young and they leave kids behind, it's like it's really really sad, and I'm sure, I don't know if you guys still have contact with patients, family members after if they don't.
We do. There's times that they, they're going through grief, and it's normal. Nobody really, there's no book on telling you how to deal with it. But there's times that, we're not only involved with the patient, but we're also heavily involved with the family. So we establish rapport really quickly just because of the helping nature of the service. So I think when you develop that type of relationship, they see us as a trusted source. So they know they're coming in here and they're going to get the help that they need. Or even if it's just, hey, you know what, I feel like crap today. I can't even handle today. I need to come in. They can come in and they know that we're here to just listen. It's not even so much about what you say. It's just about being there for that individual while they're going through one of the worst times of their life. So I think that's what separates our agency. We're able to really establish rapport really quickly. At the same time, we know how to have healthy boundaries and healthy enough for us to be able to provide services for them. Because it is, obviously, we're human, and you see this person breaking down in front of you, you're not going to just be, stone cold. Obviously, you really get involved with the families, but we are very aware of how to have that healthy boundary so it doesn't blind us from what the goal is, and it's to help that individual and the family.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does take a toll sometimes, but we're here to help and we're here to assist. And we have a good team here in the office. We have a great support system within ourselves, within the staff. If, I got done with a case and it was brutal, I know I can go talk to any of the girls and they're going to listen, and vice versa. So I like to call us one big brain. We're all one big brain here. If there's something that I don't know, I can go to any of the other girls and they'll have a solution. So we work very, very well as a team. That's the thing. Whenever somebody comes in here, they're not just getting one person, they're getting everybody, because everyone works on the case together. If we get stuck on something, somebody else in the group is bound to know the answer. And if not, we work very fast to figure it out. So I think that sets us apart from other agencies, aside from the fact that there really is no other agency like ours. It's ran by social workers, and social workers are the ones providing that service to our community. And we're all bilingual. That's another thing. Everyone here is bilingual. So when they come in, it doesn't matter if they're monolingual or they're bilingual, we will figure out a way to help them.
Yeah. And I think, social workers are, they go through a lot, and they're kind of like behind back doors. They do a lot and go through a lot. They deal with patients with cancer, or kids that are being mistreated, or women that are being abused, or all these things that are going on in our community. And we hardly, especially because I feel that because I have friends that are social workers, and a lot of times they don't really want to talk about it because, we're having a drink or whatever, and they don't really want to go back to that world. It's kind of hard to leave work at work, especially when it's something that, the things that you guys deal with. You mentioned your team. Do you want to, kind of mention who else is in the team and kind of shout them out? And
Yeah, of course. So I mentioned Helen Palomino. She's the CEO. She's also a licensed clinical social worker. So she's the one that spearheads this whole thing. Then there's me. We also have Adai Urias. She's also, she has her master's in social work as well. She wears many hats. She does, a lot of our administrative stuff as well as the patient navigation part of it. And she also works closely with the children. We all do. And then we also have Nayeli Gonzalez, who's also a patient navigator. She's a master's. She just got her master's this past May from San Diego State. We have Leticia Aiton, who is also one of our other master's level social workers. And we have Terry Swing, who's also our certified patient navigator. So that's the team right now. We all, like I said, we all work very well together. Yeah, we're one big brain here.
And were you always, wanting to go into social work, or is it something that just happened when you were volunteering at?
I knew I wanted to help people. I didn't know in what. I used to work in education for, I think I want to say 7 years. I worked also at Calexico High School. Oh, really? I worked at Hopeville High School for both CalSOAP and the Imperial Valley Mesa program. So I was more on the academic side of things. I didn't get into social work until I think I volunteered for about a month or two at the case management department at Pioneers. So that's kind of where I got my start into social work. And I'm like, all right, well, this sounds pretty cool. I kind of want to do this as a living. And never once did I think I was ever going to be in cancer, because I had family members who have passed away from cancer, and also friends who have been affected by cancer. So to me, when I got asked, hey, do you want to be placed there? I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to deal with that. That's really hard. But it was the only option, and it turned out to be the best option for me, because I completely fell in love with this work. The patients, the families that we serve. I mean, I was scared at first because I didn't know what to do, but you just figure it out as you go. And the patients really, they're our teachers. They teach us everything that we need to know. So that's kind of how I got in here.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, because I mean, like I said, it's not an easy job.
No.
There's a lot that you guys deal with, I bet, and I don't know, like people that I know that were always like, oh yeah, I want to be a social worker. It's like, kudos to you, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could deal with it. It's, and especially because I mean, I'm an emotional guy. I cry a lot. So I don't know. I don't know if I could, I don't know how much I would
handle it,
or yeah, like how much help I would be to a patient when I'll probably be the first one crying.
That's the rule. You don't break down in front of a patient. But I think working here, I shocked myself, because I thought, so I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to break down if somebody's coming to me and they're crying, because I think if you're an empathetic person, you can feel that other person's pain if they're, crying to you, or they're telling you how they're feeling or what they're going through. You can literally feel the emotion from that person. But I think that's where we're so skilled in really having that healthy boundary of, you don't go down with that person. You listen, you engage, you take it in, and then you're like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then once you're done, then that's when you debrief with the team. And if you need to cry, you need to cry. But yeah, it definitely is a difficult job to do, but it's very rewarding. Very, very rewarding at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful I ended up here, even though I didn't want to at first. But yeah, it's a great place to be. And it's mainly because of the support system that we have here. I think if we weren't all in sync with one another, and we weren't as supportive of each other as we are, it would be very difficult to get through the day. But I mean, I love it here. I love the patients that I work with. I love the families that we work with, and helping our community, get access to healthcare. It's amazing whenever you first start working with a patient and they're coming to you and they have no idea of how to start or what to do. And then a couple months later, they come to you and they're like, hey, I just finished treatment. I'm in remission. And you see the cycle of them coming in, being very distraught because of the diagnosis, going through the side effects of treatment, losing their hair, all the different changes that goes on for them. And then coming in and doing a lot better. I think that's super rewarding.
Do you think it's what's the word I'm trying to look for? On purpose that it's all women on your team?
I don't think so. It's not like we're like, hey, you only got to be a chick and this is the only requirement that you need to work here. We've had male interns before, and they've done a great job at, handling the patient load. It's not like, oh, they're men, they're not going to be able to speak to, a female patient. I mean, it's just kind of happened that we're all women that are working here. But no, we've had male interns and volunteers in the past, and they've done a great job at working with our patients. I think you just have to have the heart for it to work here, and have that mental toughness or that strength to just keep going, even though you're like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do, or I don't even know where to start. That's what we're very good at, just guiding each other and helping each other out
Yeah, now that I think about it, the people that I know that are social workers are all women as well. So I don't know. I think it does have to do that the fact that
the nurturing part.
yeah, I think that's a huge part of being a social worker and dealing with the stuff that you guys deal with, because I don't know, as a man, I don't know, looking at my kids, whenever they need some loving, they go with mom, not with. So, and I feel that a big part of being a social worker, dealing with cancer patients, kids, women are more it comes more naturally to women than it does to men.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I never thought it, but yeah, majority, even I remember looking back in like our classrooms, majority was women. I think there was probably like 10 guys in a class of like 25, 30 people. Yeah, it's a very low number, but the men that I've seen here, handle the patients and everything. They do a really good job.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not saying that men can't do it, but because you do have men. I have friends that are, they have different relationships with their kids or kids in general than I do, because I don't know, they just react differently with kids or just, I mean, not because it's kids, but they have a different sense of showing emotion, showing love, and all these things that maybe a lot of us don't. Maybe that's why there's more women than men in this field. I mean, I'm just guessing. Don't quote me on more men being and more women being in this field than men. But yeah, I kind of it's noticeable that more women are in this field than men. So we're almost at 45 minutes. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about about the, what is it? What's the acronym? CRCD?
I don't think so. I think we covered a bunch of stuff. Just some stats from this year. I thought we were going to slow down because of COVID, but that hasn't been the case so far. We've provided services to 357 individuals just this year. And in our services, we've been able to mitigate $330,000 for our community. So that can be, maybe the insurance didn't bill properly and now they're billing the patient, or we were able to help that individual access Social Security or any other form of financial source. That's that money that's accounted for. And I know there's still, that number is a lot larger, but that's what we have right now as far as reporting. Grant assistance, like I mentioned before, we did get 2 different grants, actually 3 different grants this year to be provided specifically for individuals, for our patients. So from that, we're at a total of $85,000, and that's in form of gas cards, assistance with rent and utilities. So, it's a whole wraparound service that we provide here. It's making sure that all needs are met. And of course, we're not the do-all for the patients. We leverage our community as well. Spread the Love has been huge in helping a lot of our patients. United Way has also been big in helping a lot of our patients. Department of Social Services, Social Security, all those different agencies that are here in our county, they've been able to provide a lot of assistance for our patients. So we're very good at leveraging, and we're very good at just acting really fast and making sure that individual needs are met 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And kudos to everybody that, works with you guys, and you guys being able to communicate and because sometimes I think, that communication is where a lot of people get stuck when it comes to filling out paperwork or getting bills paid, and especially in our community where we're like, pues no me contestaron, I'm not gonna call them back, or no me contestan.
Oh, no, we're like, no me contestaron, voy a hablar como 5 veces más hasta que me contesten. Yeah, no, we push a lot. So, even if it's the patient needing to make a phone call, having to fill out paperwork, whatever it is that they're needing that pertains to their cancer, we're here to provide that assistance.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for, taking this time again. And I know even today I was like, oh no, we're gonna miss it again. In the morning.
I know. That thing went to spam.
It's
Sorry.
crazy. But yeah, I want to thank you again, and I want to thank everybody that you mentioned that helps, and even those that we didn't mention. I want to thank them for being part of CRCD. It's like I said. I mean, I kind of knew about you guys, but I didn't know the extent of all the things that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to thank you again because it's a lot of work, and it's hard work. And not everybody takes the time and the dedication to do it. Like you said, there's not a lot of resource centers like you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully somebody in another county listens to this and they're like, you know what, we're gonna start one like this one. And yeah, thank you for what you do. Thank you for the time. And I want to invite everybody to follow your social media because that's a good way to find out when fundraisers are going on, how to help, especially when COVID's over. You guys will be in need of volunteers that people can come by and help you guys out. And yeah, that's the end goal for me. It's put people out there like you guys and make sure that people know that you're there if in case they need the help. Like if you're a cancer patient, in case you need that help, they're there for you guys. And if you're somebody that's wanting to help the community, CRCD is a good way to help also the community. So, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for redoing this with me. I really appreciate it. And anything else?
No, I just want to thank you for giving us this platform so that we can provide some information on our services because it's so broad and yet so specific at the same time that I just hope our community, accesses us whenever they need it. And they're not scared to seek our services. It's completely free. It's at no cost to the patient. So take advantage while we're here, if it's needed. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to you. And hopefully, I think you're doing a great job at bringing awareness to all the resources that are here in our county for everybody to use. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you stay safe, wear your face mask, wash your hands, social distance. Let's bring these numbers down because we're going up again. It's not only here in the county, it's all over the country, but I think we can do way better. And it's all in all of us to do it. But yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching or listening. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.